Thank you all for taking your time out to come along and have a chat with us this afternoon. So as I said, we're from Social Security Scotland, and over the last 2 years a lot of work has been going on in Scotland to have a series of benefits devolved from UK Government to Scotland. So just a slight recap on that. We went through a public consultation which asked people what they would expect to see for benefits being delivered in Scotland and what they thought about the current system. And then that reported to Parliament. So it's been quite fast paced for those of us who are involved, but we're quite conscious that our bubble of social security doesn't actually mean that people out there on a day-to-day basis understand what is happening with social security. So the main intention of the Act was to bring the powers to be allowed to deliver the 11 benefits. And the 11 benefits are about disability benefits and benefits that are related for people who are maybe could be in work or not in work, and it's about not job related. So we're not that step around the kind of job seekers allowance or universal credits that's staying at a UK level, as you know. We're more around carers allowance supplement, disability allowance, PIP DLA child, PIP attendance allowance, funeral expenses, and the list goes on up to 11. You can quiz me later if you wish. So bringing over those benefits, I think before we even started the chat, one thing that Jill said is it's still going to be a very complex world once we start to deliver, because we are conscious that we will still have a lot of benefits delivered at a UK level, and we're just looking after those 11. Those 11 will mean, though, that we will support about 1.4 million people across Scotland. So it is still going to be a decent size of support that's required to meet that need. So to set about meeting how we would deliver that in Scotland, we looked at how we would deliver those benefits and make sure that our key priority was about the individual at the end of the day, because what very much came out from the consultation was that people felt they'd lost their identity within the system, and that they felt that they were being questioned in a way that they weren't greatly comfortable with. So for us, our cornerstone of everything we do is about dignity, fairness and respect. And that is embedded all over our Act. And then we have our principles that guide how we will deliver. And they're not just about how we'll deliver the policy, it's actually about how we will deliver our services from the agency's point of view, from our staffing, and to how we will meet the needs of our clients on a day-to-day basis. It was also decided last year that for that safe and secure transition, thinking about that dignity and respect for people, was that it shouldn't be a all singing, all dancing, launch 11 benefits on one day, a big bang approach. It was more that we would go for a phased approach, and we will deliver the benefits over this parliamentary term. So over the next 4 years you will see those benefits come online, and that gives us that chance to start off with some of the benefits that maybe are slightly lower in the number of clients that you would have, so that we can then develop and take that expertise on as we go forward. And it gives us the design time and implementation, because yes, the benefits are transferring over, but we're also making sure that we deliver them in the way we want for the people of Scotland. Some of those key things that are probably important to understand about how we will deliver for the people of Scotland is about how we're actually looking at that service delivery, and some of that for us is about the public commitment that we will not have assessments run by the private sector, and we're looking at how we will deliver that in Scotland. And I guess one of the key ambitions around PIP and attendance allowance and DLA child is about reducing the amount of assessments that we have to have. And our previous Minister, Jean Freeman, spoke about that a lot, and now our own Cabinet Secretary, Shirley-Ann Somerville, that focus is how about we deliver this service for people. The other legislative requirements that we have that are important to kind of note are about income maximisation. So I suppose if you look at our Act, it's about entitlement. So that's very different to what the UK reform level that you have policy-wise at UK, whereas Scotland, it's about entitlement. So because it's an entitlement-based Act, it means that we as an organisation have a requirement that we should tell you what people are entitled to. So that income maximisation is about what you're entitled to of those devolved benefits. So if you're entitled to DLA child but also entitled to another benefit, but you didn't apply for that, we should make you aware that you are. We can't force you to apply for it, but we will always tell people what they're eligible to receive. We also have a requirement around ensuring that it's about inclusive communication, so that we are making sure that all of our information and our application forms are accessible in the widest variety that we possibly can. And part of that is even about how we set up the agency. So we set up the agency going forward that we will have our headquarters in Dundee, and then we will have a second site in Glasgow as well. But also, as we bring on more benefits, we're looking to do local delivery across Scotland, and that for us is about pre-claim support to help people complete those application forms and understand what they're entitled to from Social Security Scotland. We're looking at about 400 staff around the country to do that support, and conscious that it's not a one-size-fits-all. Every area has very unique circumstances themselves as how they deliver within their areas. So for us, that is about being in places where people already visit. So we've already been having conversations with colleagues across local authorities about saying, where do we need to be within your area? This is about co-location, this is not about setting up buildings across the whole of Scotland. Over the two main sites, we're looking at probably around 1,500 staff, but that's not taking into account assessments. No decisions have been made yet about how we will deliver those assessments in Scotland. The other thing that the Act brought for us is a charter, and the charter will be there as that kind of guidance as to how we will run those services and our policies across Scotland. And that charter is being developed with the people of Scotland, and it is involving people such as individuals who signed up for our experience panels. Does anybody know about experience panels?
Yeah.
Okay, so experience panels were where people volunteered to be a part of designing social security in Scotland. So we will work along with them looking at how we deliver the charter. There will also be independent scrutiny of the policy as it comes through. So it's very much a different setup that we're looking for in terms of Social Security Scotland. And it's an exciting time. But as you can imagine, it's all about recruitment at the minute, it's all about staff training, it's all about our policy colleagues trying to get regulations laid in Parliament so that we can meet the times of what we need to do. And our key focus is on the delivery for what we see as those first wave of benefits coming on. And that for us is a new benefit, which is Carers Allowance Supplement. We're also looking at bringing on funeral expenses assistance and a Best Start grant, which replaces Sure Start grant at a UK level, and that they look to be delivered by the summer of 19 is when we're looking to do that.